After years and years of bloat and bad games and overspending and alienating the audience, it's finally happening. Xbox and the video game industry is currently in shambles. This courtesy of Pirate Nation. George Broussard said that he has heard from an internal source that Xbox could close several studios and it will be like a meteor took out the dinosaurs. He isn't sharing names, but says the information came from someone inside the company. Broussard said if the information is true, it could be the biggest round of layoffs the gaming industry has ever seen. He also claims even the studios that stay open will face layoffs. If it's even close to true and it's from the inside, this will likely be the largest single layoff event in gaming history. Xbox is going to be supremely unpopular for a long time, and the devastation is going to reverberate like the meteor that took out the dinosaurs. Last year, Xbox laid off 9,000 people. This may dwarf that. That's where we're at right now. And rumor is that these are some of the companies that are being potentially shuttered. Undead Labs, Double Fine, Compulsion, Ninja Theory.
I thought Ninja Theory was a surefire bet. Am I wrong on that?
From what I understand, yes. But these other ones, Double Fine is interesting as well.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah. Another big thing, obviously Game Pass. Game Pass has not worked the way that they thought about, and Vera points this out. Yeah, they spent billions on these deals when they're trying to cut costs. This is a no-brainer right here. Xbox reportedly stopped signing third-party Game Pass deals as they spent billions on this right here. So the video game industry is about to change. This actually just came out this morning. Microsoft currently weighing closing at least 5 studios, including Arcane, which make Blade, exploring options to sell Arcane. Xbox layoffs starting July 6th. Layoffs will lead to studio closures or spinoffs, potential mergers of studios, and canceled games. This is going to be bloody Monday. This is going to be Monday, July 6th, and people are like, they probably do it the 3rd, but they don't want it to, it's going into a holiday weekend. So they don't want everyone to feel bad going into their holiday weekend, but everybody knows this is coming. And this
How does that work, Craig? Isn't that usually... If you're going to do that, don't you do that like on the Friday?
Generally,
right?
yeah.
Like you do it beforehand. That way they then have they have the holiday.
Yes, but unless they just shutter everything and say, we're closed, right? If you're going to get fired, they do it on a Friday, right? Because they don't want you to come in the next day. And they don't want you to, go crazy on, like everybody's at work on a Tuesday. You don't want to fire somebody on a Monday, have them come in and bust in a cap on a Tuesday because they're upset. Everyone's out of the office on a Saturday and Sunday, right? Yeah, man, this is going to get ugly. Yes, Leaflet.
So what? I'm just curious. Like, what did they make these people?
Oh, you mean on an average salary?
I don't know anything about name developers and stuff like that. Like what did they make?
The various companies. I'll pull all those up here.
All right, it's like Ninja Theory did Hellblade. That would Double Fine made the Psychonauts. I'm trying to do some more modern stuff.
The Psychonauts was pretty popular. Yeah. What have they done recently? I guess is my question.
I'm gonna need to let me pull up a.
Well, there's some indie ones I don't think you're going to know as far as Double Fine. Well, Craig's going to bring it up.
So
Arcane did blanking, but they were working on Blade. That was going to be their big title.
Yeah, but it looks like they're canceling Blade now. That was announced about an hour ago.
Oh, they're they're not going to sell it.
Yeah, I just put that in the run sheet for you, Craig.
What?
Oh, wow.
That's a biggie.
Undead Labs did State of Decay 2 in 2020. Double Fine did Psychonauts 2 in 2021, a game called Keeper in 2025, and there's a game called Kiln, which is supposed to be launched this year. Compulsion did the South of Midnight game, which, that was
like a bag of dicks.
Yeah, but it won all the awards. Ninja Theory did Hellblade 2 and Bleeding Edge in 2020. So those are just in the last 6 years or so. I don't know. Would you call any of those major hits? Maybe State of Decay? Maybe?
No. These are certainly not. No. State of Decay, I think, is your best bet there. Double Fine, really, for me, is more just I'm holding on to something, but I get it.
So, like, none of them have made anything that's really
resonated and became huge commercial successes. No, I believe actually even Hellblade 2 was a big letdown, if I recall. Like, it didn't do nearly as financially well as the first one.
So what do you guys think this is? I mean, like,
I know exactly what this is.
I'll let you.
No. Well, no, but I'm sorry. I thought you was just asking a simple question, but please, by all means, go ahead.
No, I was going to ask, what do you guys think it is?
Yeah, I think it's very simple. During COVID, everybody's indoors. video games see a massive spike, right? We all understand this. So what happens is investors came in and they overhired during COVID. The game budgets ballooned insanely over this time into hundreds of millions of dollars. The games did not resonate with an audience at all. They underperformed. Then on top of that, there's a cultural layer, right? The obviously the identity politics injected into a lot of this stuff that ultimately downright dismissed the core audience. You know, that's the one thing we hear consistently. Oh, it is the propaganda from the ESA, the Electronic Software Association. 50% of gamers are female. Like, we all understand that's not true, right? Everybody who plays games knows that's true. If you add in mobile games, okay, maybe. The people who are playing, right, exactly. People who are playing these games, look, it's just, let's just call a spade, right? It's mostly white guys who have the look, that's not saying that there aren't, like, people of color or black guys or Asian guys, whatever, right, who are playing these games. There are, right? But if you just look at the demographics, that's the truth of it. Go to any convention and tell me I'm wrong. So there's the cultural layer of this, right? I actually had an entire post about this. Let me pull this up yesterday. I said there's the obvious business incompetence. You have the cultural layer, identity politics injected into creative decisions at every turn, and the core audience dismissed or outright alienated. When the layoffs drop, expect a ton of hand-wringing and shocked reactions like this is some unforeseen nuclear bomb going off in the industry. Anyone watching this could have seen this from miles away. Everybody, like, we've been talking about this for years. We've tried to warn everybody. And, like, it's so obvious, but you can't keep doing the same formula and act surprised when the whole thing starts collapsing under its own weight. Nobody paying attention should be surprised by this at all. And here's the thing. Like, and I've said this many, many times, but anytime there's a layoff, the only real hope is that the developers take their skill and they become indies and they start making what they want to make. Do low budget, make what they want, you be creative, don't be tied to a system. And there's a giant flood and we see an indie renaissance, right? We're kind of in the middle of that right now where indie games, AA games are big, but this could lead to a bigger flourishment of that. But the reality of this is that the death cult that helped drive this mess will probably just double down and refuse to learn a single thing and just blame the chuds. It's all the chuds' fault. It's the gamers' fault for this happening. When in reality, there's a lot of factors to this. So,
you know what I realized? Okay, this actually ties into a lot of this. You know what I realized as, like, a business owner, that it's really hard to find defective people. Like, actually, people that will actually, like, you tell them, like, this is the goal, do this. It's really hard to find people. You don't have to literally sit there and, like, whip them the entire time, right? And so the reason this ties into this is, like, you know how, like, on X, where, like, when Elon got X and he was like, yo, I'm firing, like, almost all of you, right? And everybody was like, oh, the sky is falling, it's fucking over, right? And then he did it, and then, like, nothing happened. So it's like there's so many people that are useless in, like, the games industry. It's become this kind of inflated, cushy job that people could have and then just do nothing, right? Produce nothing of value. Like, they just keep making this shit. Nobody cares about it. And they're like, oh, but it's for my art, right? But nobody gives a fuck about that. It's all about value. Like, is it going to bring value to the consumer? And they keep not doing it. So it's like, of course this is going to happen, right?
What you said about finding good people, that is the hardest thing for any business owner, right? It's funny. We kind of joke on the show, like, if Blabs or Phoenix was ever like, well, I'm done, I'd be like, okay, show's done. Sorry, guys. like Side Scrollers is wrapping up now, like, we have a good thing going here because I think we all know our roles. We have a really good chemistry on the show, and we all kind of have our own responsibilities, and it makes it work, right? And it'd be really hard to replace anybody. And I hope that we're doing this for, many, many years moving ahead. And we never get complacent or take for granted what we have, but it is very hard to find people, and that's why we keep things very lean here at Side Scrollers. For the amount of stuff that we do, and the stuff that we're building, we need to know you, or we need to have a really good intro to you where somebody says, like, this person is going to do it. And honestly, like, if you're not doing your job, like, sorry, don't have time for you to not be pulling the weight.
It's a coin flip, right? Like, is this person going to gain me time, or are they going to lose me time, right? It's like a coin flip. And it like the other day, I was, like, testing somebody out for, like, a position, and, like, I was like, do this, and it was like 2 days later, here's the finished product. I was like, what the fuck? Like, what? Right? Like, I didn't even, like, have to tell you anything. And so I immediately was like, can I hire you? It's kind of like that. Yeah.
The best, and I told this to Phoenix, told this to Blabs, I want them, and anybody that I work with, I want them to be proactive. I want them to take the initiative, and I would much rather them fail being proactive than to be stagnant and not take the initiative. But that's bringing it back to the video game industry, just like X. The amount of bloat at these companies is like, why do you think there are $100 million games? Well, that's why, because you got to pay, your average engineer $150K over the course of, a studio has 500 people working on it or working on a game that they're all making $150K. Do the math on it. All of a sudden, you got a game that's millions and millions and millions, tens of millions of dollars, and it's got to sell it's got to sell a million copies before it even gets close to breaking even. And that's hard to do. That is really, really hard to do, especially when you see things like this. This is from Black Sage. Just remember, folks, this is why the layoffs are happening. Never forget, these publishers and developers worked very hard to make this happen. If anything, they should be glad to have destroyed a once functioning industry, because this was their intention all along. Did you ever see these things right here? This courtesy of GDC.
I've seen a lot of GDC slides of stuff like this.
Yes, video games are political. The way we make games is political. We yes, there it is right there. This is literally slides from GDC. I mean, how unbelievably crazy is that? I wish that nobody was getting fired. I honestly do. I hate when people lose their job, because they're like, I know you and Phoenix are like, light it up, right?
Phoenix.
I know. Look, but you did it to yourselves, and you didn't heed all the warning, right? If there is a kid who is cutting on a cutting board, and he's cutting something, and he's getting really close to his knives, and someone's going like, hey, you should probably move your hand, right? You should probably move it. And he's like, whatever. And eventually he ends up cutting his knife. Who's to blame? Or cutting his hand. Who's to blame? Right. It's the kid. It's the kid's fault. He was given plenty warnings, right? I'm not saying we have all the answers, but I can say, and I said this before, like, we've been like 90% accurate when it comes to whatever failure is coming down the line. Instead of listening to these companies that are telling you all the bad things that are happening, all the way you should modify your games, and we've joked about this in the past, but creating an actual agency to talk to these companies about what people actually want to play, instead of the bloat dictating this stuff. That's how you get 10,000 people losing their job on July 6th. 10,000 plus potentially. Like, that's like, I say I don't want people to, like, but sorry, not sorry.
You should
bummer.
make a consulting company.
We've joked about it. You know who'd hire me? You know who'd hire me, Leaflet?
Who would?
Nobody.
That's true.
That's 0 people. It's crazy.